We were never friends, but you were always there. 15 years just sharing all the weight we had to bear. The company kept pushing for more time with fewer hands. You never complained, you just did what the job demands. Then a simple accident, a bleed they couldn't find, and in a matter of minutes, you were left behind. And the machines kept running, a cold and endless sound, but something broke inside me there on that factory ground. I don't rush for them anymore, I won't risk myself in vain, 'cause the company keeps going, but you don't remain.
They say you can tell how long a person has worked on a factory floor just by the way they stand. After 5 years, you have a slight lean. After 10, your shoulders stay permanently hunched, like you're expecting a heavy beam to drop from the rafters at any second. But after 15 years, you don't even notice the noise anymore. The roar of the engines, the rhythmic pneumatic hiss of the hydraulics, it all becomes a kind of silence. You don't inhabit the world anymore. You inhabit the machine. I spent 15 years in that rhythm. 15 years breathing the same air, a thick mix of burnt ozone, stale coffee, and industrial coolant. And for every single one of those years, he was there. In the beginning, I couldn't stand the man. I'd see his name on the shift rotation and my stomach would just tighten. He had a temper that felt like a physical weight in the room. He was loud. He made these stupid, cutting comments that stayed in your head long after you clocked out. Sometimes he treated me like dirt, just because he could. But the thing about a shop floor is that you can't hide who you really are. The work is too hard for masks. It strips you down to the bone. He was a jerk, sure, but he was fair. If you did good work, he respected it. That was the code. A silent, greasy agreement written in sweat and steel. We shared thousands of lunch breaks sitting on plastic crates, barely saying a word, just watching the clock. You learn a person's rhythm after a decade. You know when they're tired before they do. Over the years, that fire in him started to dim. He changed departments, got a little quieter. We started joking around. Small things, about how the break room coffee tasted like battery acid, or how the new supervisors didn't know the difference between a wrench and a screwdriver. We weren't friends. I didn't know his wife's name, I didn't know where he lived. But we were solid. He was the kind of coworker you wanted next to you when the line jammed and the pressure redlined. You knew he wouldn't blink. But while we were getting older, the company was getting hungrier. You could feel the walls closing in. Every month, a new machine. Every week, a higher quota. The machines got faster, and they expected the humans to keep pace. More output, less time, fewer people. We weren't craftsmen anymore. We were just components in a system that never sleeps. He was carrying a lot of it. He was on blood thinners for a heart condition. It was a secret he kept mostly to himself, though you could see the toll it was taking. He looked grey under the fluorescent lights, like the flicker of the tubes was reflected in his skin. He was overloaded, pressured, pushed to the absolute edge of what a human body can survive. He never complained. He just kept his head down and moved his hands. Left to right, right to left, over and over. Then came the accident. It wasn't a cinematic explosion. There were no sirens at first. Just a mistake. A tiny fluke. But on blood thinners, there is no such thing as a small mistake. I saw him stumble, and for a second I thought he just needed air. But then I saw the floor. I watched the clock on the wall. I watched the red second hand sweep around. 1 minute. 2. 3. By the time the paramedics arrived, he was already gone. 15 years of a human life, erased in 4 minutes. 4 minutes to end a story that took 6 decades to write. I waited for the world to stop. I waited for the manager to hit the emergency kill switch. I waited for someone to say, "Everyone go home, something terrible has happened, a man has died here." But the silence never came. I looked up, and the machines were still running. The gears were still turning. The conveyor belt was still moving parts down the line. To the company, he wasn't a man I'd shared 15 years with. He wasn't a father or a friend. He was a unit of labor that had ceased to function. A broken part. They didn't even wait for the floor to be dry before they were talking about the schedule. They didn't even wait for his locker to be emptied before they were worried about the morning quota. I saw a supervisor looking at his workstation with a clipboard, calculating how much downtime the incident had caused. That was his eulogy. A percentage loss in productivity. That was the moment the world shifted for me. I looked at my hands, and I realized they didn't belong to me anymore. They belonged to a machine that would replace me in a heartbeat. I was just a ghost waiting to happen. So, I changed. If you saw me on the floor today, I'd look the same. But I'm not. I don't rush anymore. When the supervisor stands behind me with a stopwatch, I don't speed up. When they ask me to take an unsafe shortcut to save 5 minutes, I say no. I don't argue. I just say no. I use every rule in the book to protect my pace. I protect my safety like it's the only thing I own. Because it is. I am the only one who cares if I go home tonight. I realized that the company is a ghost. It's an engine that never sleeps and never cares. It will keep going long after my name is forgotten. But I only have one life. I only have so many minutes left in my heart. And I am not giving another one of them to a machine that doesn't know I'm there. In the end, the company keeps going. But you don't. And that is the only truth that matters.